And one thing we see is he's wearing the Iron Spider suit, which you guys have in your game. You just announced as a pre-order bonus. And let's get into the questions now, guys.
Great.
It's so you started with the softballs and now the rest.
Right. Yeah. It's a pre-order bonus. If I don't pre-order, do I not get to use that suit, or do I just get early access to it?
Early access. You still, we're not going to make that suit and not give everybody the possibility to use it. And I know this can sound really weird, but like in some way, I feel like we're involved in Infinity War, even just through the suit. So it was kind of surreal to, on Wednesday morning, wake up and say, hey, like in some little small way, our Marvel Spider-Man is involved with Infinity War. So it is a 1-to-1.
So are we going to have the other legs pop out?
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? It won't be a phone. When we were making that spot, I didn't realize that was going to be a thing, that people were going to think you could do it on the phone. And that's sometimes scares me that, oh my God, how did we not think of that? In terms of people expecting that's how you switch the suits. You just go to the pause menu basically, and there's a suit page where you can switch your suit and your suit powers.
Yeah, people ask these. These are not my questions.
Those were all my questions. These are now from the readers and people online who have been tuning into our month of coverage here.
Yeah. Does that
I don't know. I love the names. King Blaze 21. What is it? King Blaze 21.
Yeah, the other 20. Their questions weren't as good. So
okay.
I know Miles Morales is in the game, but are there any plans to make him a playable character in either a future game or DLC, assuming he's not playable in the main game?
I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I said to you guys back. This is a Peter Parker story. Miles is part of the universe.
Every, say, 100 times or so that we swing through a tree, do we come out the other side holding a cat?
No. But that would be awesome to add.
Can Spider-Man take off his suit and walk around the city as Peter Parker?
No. You play him multiple times during the main story path, but you won't be just walking around the city as Peter Parker.
What was the team at Insomniac's main inspiration for using Mr. Negative as a main antagonist? I've personally always loved him as a Spidey villain, but I never thought I'd get to see him in a game since he's not necessarily the most well-known. And N.R. Worth also wants to add that they're loving everyone's hard work and dedication on this game.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. I love that question. I think two reasons. One, it's both from a story side and a design side, gameplay side. When we guys were visiting, we talked a lot about the idea of worlds colliding, Peter's world and Spider-Man's world colliding. And we thought Mr. Negative would be a great villain to kind of feature that with the idea that he runs those fee shelters where Aunt May works. And you kind of see that, when he makes that realization that, oh, my God, my aunt is working for the new supervillain in the city, you kind of have that perfect collision. And just like I also thought, it was a good opportunity to put a relative newcomer in the Spider-Man villains into the spotlight. And then at the same time, on the gameplay side, it was really his inner demons. We thought, their negative abilities and their negatively charged weapons would add a lot of really great fodder to fight and force players to mix things up. For example, compared to like a typical, mob villain.
Speaking of costumes from before, Aaron Yee, you mentioned there would be a few costumes custom designed by Insomniac Games. Will you hold a contest for Spider-Man fans to submit their own designs and have the winner's design be selectable in-game?
It's a really cool idea. I'll bring up the James Stevenson.
Oh,
it's a cool idea.
Will we see the black suit? Is that ruled out when you say there are no symbiotes? Could the black suit still be in this game?
Could be. It couldn't be. You'll have to play the game to find out.
Okay, so next.
Hey everyone, welcome to News to Science, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. Pretty exciting stuff. Sorry I haven't uploaded any Spider-Man news lately, but there hasn't been an update since like around the 28th or so of April. And I think we're coming to the conclusion of Spider-Man PS4 updates right about now. But if you guys stuck around watching this 4-minute clip of this interview that Game Informer had recently, then you would know that the creative director, Brian Intihar, answered some questions for the upcoming Spider-Man PS4 game. Now, I only pulled up core questions from this video because originally this interview is about 30 minutes, and I'm not going to go ahead and re-upload a 30-minute interview on my YouTube channel just for the sake of getting like viewership or something like that. And plus the video is just too goddamn long. Sorry guys, but if you want to watch the original video, I'm going to have the link to the original video in my description. I've only decided to pull the core questions, like questions that I believe that I think are very important and very interesting to the fans and to the people that really want to play this game. You know, so Brian Intihar, and I'm gonna just reiterate basically because all the questions are answered in this 4-minute clip that I uploaded. He answered some questions about the costumes. I didn't pull the question about fall damage, but just to give you the brief version, there's no fall damage. For some reason, people are just fascinated with the idea of fall damage. I understand that some people want like that challenge of having to be Spider-Man, and that just being Spider-Man doesn't mean that there aren't going to be challenges along the way. I'm pretty sure you can get hurt by swinging around or falling, but in this case, there are animations that automatically happen if you were to come to that point where you're falling down, and Spider-Man may shoot up a line or shoot a line forward to save himself automatically. So that's just one answer right there for one of the main questions that fans had, and just a concern that fans had really. And there were other questions about regarding the costumes that they're going to be unlocked. The black symbiote suit, that's a very, very huge, popular fan favorite costume. They asked a question about that. It could be and could be not. I know symbiotes are not in the game, but the black suit, it's a possibility. I would love to see the black suit in this game, because with the whole graphics being 4K and really ultra high definition, I'm betting those costumes look fantastic. As it is confirmed that we are getting the Spider-Man Iron Spider suit from Infinity War into this game. And Brian Intihar also had to add that he actually saw the Infinity War movie and he loved it. And one of his favorite parts of the movie was Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man. And just about his parts of the movie were almost like the best parts in the movie. And I do agree with him to an extent. Spider-Man was amazing in Infinity War, and if you haven't seen my review for Infinity War, I'll leave a link to the review or an annotation to that as well at the end of this video. But basically, Brian Intihar is just shot with questions left and right. You also have to watch his 114 questions being shot at him, so he answers them very, very briefly, and rather really quickly actually. But I just wanted to point this out, and this is a fantastic interview if you guys haven't seen it already. Are you guys really excited for it? I know I'm cutting it short with this whole commentary that I'm adding, and you probably think that it might be pointless, but it's not. I'm just spreading the hype basically, and I kind of figured that it'd be great just to upload these questions because I find them the most interesting out of the whole 30-minute interview. So guys, let me know your thoughts. What are you excited about for the most part? Are you going to want to use the unlockable costumes right at the beginning of the game? Or are you going to stick with the costume that Insomniac has made for the game throughout the entire story, and maybe change costumes briefly here and there throughout your progression of the game? What are you mostly excited about as well as far as villains? Who do you think is the main antagonist of the game? Somebody asked a question about the main antagonist being Mr. Negative, when we know that Mr. Negative isn't exactly the main antagonist. Rather, he was pushed in the trailers and promoted because Mr. Negative is a fantastic villain, but he's just not as well known as your typical Green Goblin, Sandman, or Electro, or even Rhino, or Kingpin. But I think it's kind of cool that they're putting more spotlight onto a not so well villain, but a really cool villain, Mr. Negative. And another thing that I did want to mention, one answer I really liked from Brian Intihar about Mr. Negative, the villain of the game, is that Mr. Negative kind of adds this sense of Peter's world colliding with, within itself. And Mr. Negative kind of plays like this symbol, or this totem represents Peter's conflicts within himself and the rest of his world. And I like that. It's pretty cool to see, because this is very well much a Peter Parker story, even though you're playing as Spider-Man for the most part. But you are, for the first time, going to be playing a huge role as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, because we never really got that much in previous Spider-Man games, where in previous Spider-Man games, the main focus was just you being Spider-Man, fighting crime, and all that good stuff. But this game is going to focus heavily on the Peter Parker story as well. It's really brilliant that Mr. Negative is going to be acting sort of like as this conflict in that regard, and I can't wait to see how it's executed in this game. So what do you guys think? As always, guys, remember, I do have my Spider-Man Collector's Edition still going on right now, so if you want to be considered as the winner for the Spider-Man Collector's Edition, you know what to do. You gotta like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss anything, guys. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next comic panel.